Hey YouTube, High Radical here. I decided to come on because I found a purely secular defense of marriage. I thought it was interesting and I wanted to read it to you. I'm into product placement if you can't tell. The Kicks box, mother kid tested, mother approved. I don't get paid for that, unfortunately. Alright, so this is given by Margaret A. Somerville, and I'll post a link to it. So she says, number one, establishing context. I want first to outline briefly the context in which my comments on same-sex marriage are grounded, because in this debate, context is definitely not neutral and is not the same for everybody, or everyone. As this committee has heard, many people who oppose extending the definition of marriage to include same-sex couples do so on religious grounds, or because of moral objections to homosexuality. They are not the basis of my arguments. Rather, my arguments against same-sex marriage are secularly based, and, to the extent that they involve morals and values, these are grounded in ethics, not religion. To summarize, I oppose discrimination on basis of sexual orientation, whether against homosexuals or heterosexuals. I believe that civil partnerships open to both opposite sex and same-sex couples should be legally recognized, and that the partners, whether opposite sex or same-sex, are entitled to the same benefits and protection of the law. But I do not believe that we should change the definition of marriage to include same-sex couples. My reasons go to the nature of marriage as the societal institution that represents, symbolizes, and protects the inherently reproductive human relationship. I believe that society needs such an institution. Her second part, titled Marriage as Culture. Marriage is, and has been for millennia, the institution that forms and upholds for society the cultural and social values and symbols related to procreation. That is, it establishes the values that govern the transmission of human life to the next generation and the nurturing of that life in the basic societal unit, the family. Through marriage, our society marks out the relationship of two people who will together transmit human life to the next generation and nurture and protect that life. By institutionalizing the relationship that has the inherent capacity to transmit life, that between a man and a woman, marriage symbolizes and engenders respect for the transmission of human life. What such respect now requires has become an unprecedented issue in light of recent advances in reprogenetic technology. I discuss that shortly. To change the definition of marriage to include same-sex couples would destroy its capacity to function in the ways outlined above, because it could no longer represent the inherently procreative relationship of opposite-sex pair bonding. It would be to change the essence and nature of marriage as the principal societal institution establishing the norms that govern procreation. Marriage involves public recognition of the spouse's relationship and commitment to each other, but that recognition is for the purpose of institutionalizing the procreative relationship in order to govern the transmission of human life and to protect and promote the well-being of the family that results. It is not a recognition of the relationship just for its own sake, or for the sake of the partners to the marriage, as it would necessarily become were marriage to be extended to include same-sex couples. Reproduction is the fundamental occurrence on which, ultimately, the future of human life depends. That is the primary reason why marriage is important to society. In our highly individualistic societies, we tend to look only at the importance to individuals. My insertion here, selfishness. Back to hers. She says, that is necessary, but not sufficient in deciding on the future of marriage. People advocating same-sex marriage argue that we should accept that the primary purpose of marriage is to give social and public recognition to an intimate relationship between two people, and, therefore, to exclude same-sex couples is discrimination. They are correct if the primary purpose of marriage is to protect an intimate pair bond. but they are not correct if its primary purpose is to protect the inherently procreative relationship of opposite-sex pair bonding, or to protect an intimate relationship for the purposes of its procreative potential. When marriage is limited to opposite-sex couples, there is no need to choose between those purposes, because they are compatible with each other and promote the same goal. The same is not true if marriage is extended to include same-sex couples. That would necessarily eliminate marriage's role in symbolizing and protecting the procreative relationship. We now need the procreative symbolism of marriage more than in the past because of new technoscience possibilities for transmitting life. If we believe that, ethically, there should be limits on the use of these technologies. Culture is what marks us as humans. It is what distinguishes us and allows us to distinguish ourselves from other animals and, in the future, from intelligent machines. In the past, we used religion as an important form and force in the foundation of culture. We did so by finding shared values through religion. That is not possible in a secular society. One result is that it makes it more difficult to find consensus on values.